Boat 628, A Tony Neal Tale, Part 29 of 42, 1:46 p.m. Johnny, who'd lobbied long and hard since his birthday 2 months earlier for Rachel to accompany him on his outdoor adventure, was scared. He'd been a bit concerned for Rachel, a woman a generation younger who'd never met his brother Tony, or sister-in-law Jean, who'd just celebrated their 36th wedding anniversary in May, worried she might feel like the odd woman out, but now he was scared for her safety. He'd convinced her to go, and he was feeling guilty for having placed her in this dangerously terrifying situation. He was scared for Rachel, who he'd inadvertently left in the boat when he, Jean, and the young couple had splashed into the rushing river and been swept away, and he was scared for Jean. But he was terrified for himself. The water, despite his PFD, kept washing over his face, and every time he caught a stray bit of splash into his lungs, he realized a greater and greater empathy for victims of waterboarding. Johnny was in sensory overload, out of control, just over the edge of panic mode. Being in panic mode, he'd missed Jean screaming his name the first 2 times, but with the 3rd attempt, she'd raised her voice sufficiently to be louder than the background roaring of the river, the voices hollering at him from other boats, and most deafening of all, the inner panic that had brought Johnny to the edge of catatonia. "They're throwing ropes!" Jean screamed at him. "Grab a rope!" which she managed to scream concurrent to grabbing one of the thrown ropes herself, her words and success barely managing to penetrate through Johnny's fear-induced suspended animation. Having been brought back to a state of awareness, Johnny looked to his right, just as he and Jean were streaking downstream past a pair of NOC employees who stood on a flat rock with thrown ropes in hand. Grasping the situation, Johnny reached for the rope thrown towards him, but unlike Jean, missed and continued pell-mell in panic mode, a panic so severe that he failed to comprehend the shouted words of his would-be saviors, extolling him to face downstream with feet up, rather than continue tumbling along haphazardly without prudent care regarding the river's hazards. "Feet up! Feet up!" Jean screamed, holding onto her rope for dear life, as Johnny continued tumbling and streaming away from her.